Welcome to Spotlight Gulf Coast, a weekly showcase of people and events across South Mississippi. Sponsored by the IP Casino Resort and Spa, Mississippi Power Company, Wykert Realtors Gulf Properties, and Butch Ostelet Autoplex.
Hi everyone, this is Todd Trenchard, Executive Director of the Bacot Foundation of South Mississippi, welcoming you to another segment of Spotlight Gulf Coast right here on WXXV. Each week we're coming into your living room talking about what's going on all across South Mississippi, and we want to thank our sponsors for this generous opportunity. This is our first show of the new year, and of course got Amanda Ray. Amanda, we had a great holiday season there, a little cold.
We did. It's hot now, but we had a fantastic holiday season. It was chilly. I went up north to visit my family, and my kids had a great time.
Well, the cold rearranged my garden and gave me the choice now that I can replace it because it's all dead. But,
Mine too.
I think that was, it certainly felt like winter this year instead of sweating on Christmas Day. And,
It did. Not anymore though.
Right. Now today we were going to celebrate some of our leaders of tomorrow, and of course we have Avery Elbin on the show. And Avery, I don't think you've been on the show before. Were you on the show before when I met you a few years ago?
No, sir.
But I think that very unexpected opportunity. I was giving out some scholarships, I think, at Gulf Coast.
Yes, sir.
With Mary Graham. I was on the board of directors, and I was calling out some names, and I saw the name Elbin. And of course, I knew your dad,
Yes,
Chief of Police in Goshen. And I said, well, this would be nice if we could, and sure enough, we drew that name. And you were what, the presidential scholarship winner?
Yes, sir.
And that was how many years ago?
Graduated high school in 2018, so then.
Right, and you were, I guess just even being in the room, if you're on the president's list, you're making some pretty good grades, I would assume. And you certainly got to know you from there, and we've done some things, we've done some presentations over the years. Let's talk a little bit about what you chose to go into.
So I chose to go into speech language pathology. I started at the University of Southern Mississippi, and I'm currently working on my master's degree at University of South Alabama.
That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. And I was certainly impressed when we were just talking briefly before the show about what made you decide to go into speech pathology. So let's talk a little bit about that and kind of explain what led you into that field.
So I grew up with a mother who always, she taught children with special needs for years. And so seeing how she impacted their lives, it made me fall in love with that. And so I want to be a part of the betterment of a child's life and helping them feel comfortable in their surroundings, integrating them into society around them, and just feeling accepted.
And the master's program there, how does one get into that? Is it you go through your undergraduate studies and then you apply for it?
Yes, sir. So my senior year, you start applying to different graduate schools. I applied throughout Mississippi and another school in Alabama. And you find out towards the end of your senior year where you've gone. They take about 25 people. So I was very blessed to be accepted at South Alabama.
Now, I know we have the DeBard Language School at Southern Miss,
Yes.
Because Joe Martin's sister, Maureen, was the director of it. And we got involved with that many years ago with Robbie Maxwell. And I remember going up there and seeing that. It's a highly specialized field, obviously. And like you said, it's not something that anybody just gets into. I mean, you've got to first have a passion for people and helping people. And how has it been? Is it what you expected, or?
It's what I expected and more. So while I was at Southern Miss, they had the DeBard School and the Children's Center, and I got to work with some of the children at the Children's Center. And just seeing how happy they were, how much they loved being there, what the speech pathologists did to help them communicate for themselves, advocate for themselves, it was absolutely incredible. So I fall in love with it.
I think it's really neat, though, to see this come full circle. I mentioned Robbie Maxwell. Robbie started Mississippi Security Police. And, of course, Nicky, his son, is the person that's sort of running it today with Jennifer Cochran. And here you are getting a scholarship from them through us.
Yeah.
coming full circle, and I mean, he would have just been tickled pink because he was all about the DeBard School, and Robbie would have us go up there. I know that you've had some experience, you said, like
Yes.
with this.
Well, it's so nice to see these young future leaders coming together into this field. As a mom of a special needs child, I have 5-year-old twins. One of them is autistic, and therapy has been key, early intervention. So things like speech, occupational therapy, ABA therapy, without those services, I couldn't imagine where he'd be today. And just in the past 2 years since he's been receiving these services, I mean, his progress, he went from hardly talking, hardly having any social interaction to he can have a full conversation. He can communicate. He has wonderful functional language skills
Incredible.
now. So really, it's amazing, and it's so wonderful to see young leaders coming together into this field, because it's definitely a need with the increase in developmental disorders, and I think it's 1 in 30 or 1 in 33 children now are diagnosed with autism. So it's definitely a need for us.
It's incredible.
Now, Avery, going through college, you learn one of the things that we all learn as to the parents. It's very expensive. And that's where the little shout out goes. Sometimes when you're first going off to school, it's a lot easier to find money than it is once you get into school.
Oh, yeah.
And to see Mississippi Security Police step up and do something for their employees. And, I remember a couple of years ago when Jennifer and Nikki approached me, I said, this would be perfect because we're trying to sort of establish that. Air Masters does the same thing. And you may have even gotten one of those back in the past. But we're looking for companies that step up, make an investment in not only their employees, but in our leaders of tomorrow. That goes a long way to helping.
Oh, it does. It really does. With things like tuition, books, even when you move off, helping with like living expenses and things, like it is such a blessing.
I know that, again, we put so much emphasis when someone's graduating high school to find them this type of money. But the longer you stay in school, those opportunities become less and less.
Yeah, especially when you go to graduate school. This was one of the few opportunities for scholarships I've even come across. So to be able to have received it, it's incredible.
Now, again, of course, a lot of that goes that your dad went full circle and now he's doing some work with Mississippi Security Police. And of course, he's gone on to become a city councilman in Gautier. I've known your dad now a long time. And, when you have good parents like that, I mean, he's pretty...
Oh, he is. He's very on top
pretty
of things.
regimented.
He called me before this. Are you almost there? Are you on your way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And that's something that you certainly can pass on. And again, I think it's neat that we have, two people that, can communicate about some of the things that y'all know that maybe I don't. But thanks again for coming all the way over here.
Thank
a little
you.
different from what we used to do over in Pascagoula. And but we appreciate it. We're going to have some other students that are following right behind you. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Avery.
We're going to take a short commercial break, so don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. And of course, we're talking with some of our leaders of tomorrow, and we're real pleased on this segment to have Miss Chandler Wheeler. Chandler, I know you're excited about being on TV today, huh?
Yes, this is my first time, so I'm super excited.
Well, I know you are. I know you are. Now, and of course, Addie Wilson, and Addie, you're now an old pro. You were on TV a few weeks ago. And
I was.
now you're starting to feel a little more confident. And,
Yes, sir.
but it is good. There's an important thing with doing this because there's somebody out there watching. And they're both wondering, why are y'all on TV? But we're going to talk a little bit about what y'all's experience has been. And I want to start off with you, Chandler, because I guess a couple years ago, I know your mother very well. And, we were talking, and I know you were getting ready to go off to school, going to Ole Miss
Yes, sir.
for some reason, and not LSU. But we joked a little bit about that. But we started talking about, how this might be an opportunity for you to get involved with the foundation. And then you were able to contribute a little bit last year with the Jolly and, give back. And of course, Addie, you're learning all about that as a senior assistant this year over here. And y'all go to two different schools, St. Patrick Gulfport, but y'all grew up knowing each other, and I guess it's a small community.
Yes.
It is.
But I'm going to start with you, Chandler. When you first were, I guess, getting to know what we were doing, I remember when you first walked into the fairgrounds that day, you were like, but by the end, it became second nature. You're a little more confident. You came back that night and did some stuff. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was really fun. So I've always loved watching, for instance, my mother. She's very prominent of giving back into the community, and it's always inspired me. And then just meeting you and seeing what all you've done, and it really inspired me to give back and come and experience the Jolly and see what it was all about, and meeting all the people that made this foundation so great. And it was just a really fun time, honestly.
Yeah, and I think at that same event, of course, your mother's lights were there, I know.
Yes, they
Yes.
were.
And so I remember that all being put up on stage, and here it was. I think a little bit later, your mom gave me a call and said, I've got a daughter, and I know that you have senior assistants over here in the Gulfport market. And so you followed Lexi, who'll be on the next segment here, but you've learned a little bit about that same thing, about giving back and the importance of it.
Yes, sir. So I've done Dinner in the Dark for the Den, which is an association and organization that helps, the youth.
Elena Golden.
And Miss Elena Golden, and helps the youth and gets them more involved. And then I did deliver magazines for Renaissance Runway, and I got my name out there, met some more people who are involved with the Bacot Foundation. And it's overall just been really rewarding to meet new people and to get my name out there, so in the future I can be more successful. So, for sure.
Now, you've gone off to college, and so you've seen the college experience, and it's a little different than high school. You have to sort of go to school instead of be told to go to school.
Yeah, definitely. When transitioning, it's definitely there's a lot of differences. I went to a small private high school, so I was very used to seeing the same faces every day, and then moving on to a bigger college campus, you see a new face every day. So it's definitely an opportunity to meet new people from all over the country and make new friends. And then on top of that, you're living on your own without your parents, making your own choices. So it's definitely very different, but in the end, it's very rewarding and definitely a great time. I wouldn't regret anything so far.
Right. Now, you're finishing up your high school, but you're also, I think, going to college.
Yes, sir. So I'm doing the Collegiate Academy or Middle College program at Gulfport High School. So I'm a Gulfport senior, yet I take sophomore classes at MGCCC Harrison County campus. So I'm on my last year there. So when I graduate in May, I'll graduate with my associate's degree first, because the high school's graduation is later on, and then I'll graduate with my high school diploma. So that way when I go to state, I'll only be there for 2 years and working on my degree in kinesiology and so forth.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard. Okay, so you graduate with an associate degree before you graduate high school, but that's the drive that I think some of the younger people have, and this is all something, and you're going into, what is it? I can't even say it.
Kinesiology. So the movement of the human body and doing more healing movement-wise instead of surgery, and learning your natural healing ways. But after that, I plan on going to physician assistant school, either at Mississippi State Meridian campus or USA. So they both offer it, and they're both about 2-year programs. So I'll pretty much be done in 4 years with my whole educational career and everything like that.
Okay, I was joking with you. I do know what it is. And of course, you're going to be graduating in biology. And again, these are not majors you just pick. I mean, these are, I was probably trying to figure out the fastest, quickest way to get through. And but this takes a little bit of study, too. I mean, it takes a little discipline to, you're going to sit there and have to learn chemistry and SBD orbitals. Y'all probably know that I know all this stuff, but I had to go through all that. Well, all had to go through that. That's part of the college thing. Are you committed to doing that? If you were seeing somebody and you come back, do they ask you questions about what it's like? I guess that's how colleges recruit each other.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people ask me how it is and different things. For instance, rushing, people ask me about that all the time. And I definitely think sorority life has been a big blessing. I've met a lot of my lifelong friends, but also gives you the opportunity to go back and serve the community. We have 2 philanthropies with Child Abuse America, Prevent Child Abuse America, and Girl Scouts of America. And we hold different events each year, and definitely like being a part of this organization at home has definitely helped me there also in college with taking it more seriously and actually just sitting back and looking at all the positivity it has brought to the community in Oxford also.
Yeah, I think that we're starting to look at community involvement being much more important today, you know, with, you know, students and not just the grades that you make. Of course, grades are important, and but it is very important that you learn that sort of, it's not about us, how we can give back and things like that, make your community better. And again, your mother happens to be in a field where she does probably all the events.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much all across the coast now. And that's, you know, been something that you've been able to, I guess, rub off on, and you can see some of these events, learn a little bit about them, and that's got to be exciting. We just got about a minute left, and if you're going to tell somebody out there why they should possibly follow your footsteps and go to Ole Miss, what would it be?
That's a tough one.
They lost 3 in a row, so I'll remind you of that.
So I would say like go there. It's a great experience, but also like you meet a lot of good people and that you will make connections with and help you in the real world. And it's honestly just a great time, and it's a great environment, great atmosphere. I would 100% go to Ole Miss. Sorry.
100% Ole Miss, and
Sorry.
you're going to state, so why would you go to state?
I would go to state just for the culture there. It's a different thing. You're at agriculture for state, and you're at more law school, doctorate and stuff for Ole Miss. So, but I have tons of friends going to Ole Miss too. But I would just say go to state because it's the best school, in my opinion. My parents went there. I went there, and as soon as my first time in September, and I fell in love with the atmosphere and everyone there. They're so kind. So,
Well, we appreciate both y'all coming on.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. And Amanda, we've got with us, I mean, I guess you're a real pro. You've been on TV, been in a fashion show, Lexi Peters. And Lexi, wanted to get you back on over the holidays because it gets pretty busy, and being off far away at Ole Miss, it's not like you can just hop down here at any time.
No, it's definitely been hard, especially this past semester with football season going on. It's been not easy to get home, but this long break has been so nice. We don't start back school till the 23rd, so we've had a nice long break.
So you're just
at
sort
home.
of starting it, and I mean, you still got another 20-something days,
yes,
20 days
crazy.
to go. Again, wanted to have you on because I wanted to talk about a little bit about what it's been like, you know, off at school. And one of the first questions obviously comes to mind: what's the difference between high school and college?
So for me, the biggest difference has definitely been the change in schedule. All throughout high school, I would leave home around 7:45 and probably wouldn't come back till around 8 or 8:30, which is insane now compared to my schedule now. But you know, with dance and everything in high school, I was always gone. So now having the amount of free time that I've had, I really have had too much to even know what to do with it. But it's been nice though, especially for this first semester, just getting settled into everything and having the extra time for studies and all of that kind of stuff. It has been nice. But yeah, I think as I go on and get into those harder classes and get more involved at the university, I'll have less time than I have now. But yeah, that's been my biggest jump.
I think that's probably what college really teaches you more, as much as anything, you know, is that you start learning self-discipline and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I was always sitting there, you got an exam in the morning and like, where's the book? So that was the wrong way of probably doing it. But if you discipline it through, you know, it's really not as much schooling as you go to in high school.
No, definitely
I mean, it's
not.
like a tenth of it.
Well, I think too, the key is getting involved in other things at school. So tell us a little bit about what you're involved in right now. I know you joined a sorority, so tell us a little bit about that.
I did go Cayo in the fall, and that has been the most fun thing ever. I've met the most amazing girls through Cayo and at Ole Miss as a whole. We really have some of the sweetest, best people there.
Right.
And so it's just been really special learning from those people. The amount of people we have from out of state at Ole Miss is absolutely insane. So just learning about where they're from, how they were raised, even just stuff as small as the little words they say, has been so special. And then also realizing how impactful a sorority really is. I feel like so often we get the stereotype that it's just a group of girls that dress cute and that kind of thing, but really we are so much more. Cayo's philanthropy is Make-A-Wish, so we've raised a ton of money, just anything we can do to give back to them. And then also we had one of my favorite things we've had so far was we had a dance competition, and it's for CASA of North Mississippi. It's a foundation that raises money for abused children. And so we raised over $200,000, all the sororities combined for that. And it's just like, we really are doing so much for our community and for the world in general. It's so insane. And so it's something I'm really proud to be a part of for sure.
I know that last year when you were our senior assistant and stuff, we got an opportunity to get you into the fashion show, and, we introduced you to Zach, and of course, Zach Scruggs and him and Dickie came down for the event. But you got that exposure there, but you were already used to it, having done all the dance that you had done. So a lot of people are nervous and you relish it.
Yes. So as I said in my last interview I've grown up on stage my whole life. So it's a different stage that I've been on, but that stuff is so much fun to me. And I loved every bit of that. Getting to meet so many leaders of our community, especially, was so huge for me. And just seeing all the people that really make such a big impact on the Gulf Coast is so inspiring, and just really makes me want to have an impact when I'm older, living back on the Gulf Coast, and just be a part of that and be a part of the changes, the positive changes that people are making on the coast.
I know that we said this at the last segment, that you don't know who's watching, the show, but somebody is going to be watching this and they say, well, I wish I could do that. And I know that's how Addie ended up becoming a senior assistant, because we hadn't had one before. You were the first one over here in the Gulfport area, and her mother gave me a call and said, how, could she do this? So what we're doing is not all about us. Sometimes others are watching what we're doing. And if we could pass that on, we've done something really good. Now,
definitely.
You went to a private school over here, St. Patrick, which, again, I think Addie was trying to say is a little bit like Ole Miss, is a little bit more of a, but it's sort of the college experience is really the same everywhere.
Definitely.
I mean, you make of it what you want to make of it.
100% agree with. I think both colleges are such amazing places. I'm 100% meant to be at Ole Miss, but 3 of my best friends in the world are at State, and they're loving it there too. Now,
you're going to be going into, what is your major?
Yes, so right now I'm majoring in business with my emphasis in marketing. This first semester has been most of the basic, entry-level classes, but I'm excited to get more into the actual business major classes, so I can, kind of figure out where I'm supposed to be. I'm not dead set on a career path as of right now, which I'm okay with. I don't want to, rush myself into anything that I'm not meant to be in. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Now, I know that y'all worked together a little bit. You had a short window to teach her the fashion show.
I did. Well, actually, what I
she
told
sort of
Todd,
came in and told you.
my very first day, starting with the foundation, I came to the studio, and you and your dad were here, and I was so impressed at just your mannerisms, the things that you've accomplished, your goals. I was very impressed. So I knew we definitely had a wonderful future leader. Yes.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that.
And then we did, I remember the Jolly. This was before I was officially on staff, but I helped with the Jolly, and I got to see you there. I think you were a clown.
Yes.
I'll have to find some pictures of that.
Or a mime.
Yes,
A mime.
that's it. That's it.
That was a Jolly Kickoff at the Crawfish
Yes,
Bowl
that's what it
and
was.
stuff like that.
And then, of course, Renaissance.
Yes.
I got to see you briefly. That was my very first official big event with Bacot, and it turned out great. So we're always happy to have you and Zach involved.
Yes.
Right. Well, enjoy your holiday, and appreciate you coming
you.
on, and appreciate you all what both of y'all do.
Always.
Yes. I know Miss Amanda has been an amazing asset to you, and so she's awesome.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet.
We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody's support of the Bacot Foundation of South Mississippi. Until next time, this is Todd Trenchard and Amanda Ray saying so long, and may God bless.